Welcome back to a new adventure, Art Caps, where we talk about caps. I am your host, Ronick, and today I'm excited to introduce my special guest, my friend, Fiend. How you doing today,
What
brother?
up? How's it going?
Thank you for stopping by, brother.
Absolutely, of course. Thank you for having me.
I wanted to, start by diving in and letting the people know who is Fiend and what is home to Fiend.
So I've been collecting caps for, at least almost 20 years. And so it became something that as a hobby, and it's become more of like a form of art, being able to create content and collect caps at the same time. Done a lot of fun stuff with lids, the Clink room especially. Whereas my biggest passion is being able to support independent artists,
Yeah.
having their art be portrayed on a hat,
Okay.
which is completely awesome for me. And then doing some shoots with other companies. New Era
Okay.
is one of them. And
I like to call them the Kings of Kings.
yeah, exactly. It's the originators, right, of the true fitted.
Yeah.
You see a fitted hat, and with the New Era stamp, it's like iconic. There's nothing for me, at least in my opinion. There's nothing more real than that. And so being able to be a part of that hat community and that culture that comes with it is great for me. I love it. I love being a part of it. And so, I was born and raised in LA.
Okay.
I was born in TJ,
In Tijuana.
Tijuana, Tijuana, Baja California, but I was raised here all my life.
Okay.
I've lived all over Southern California pretty much, from, the Valley, 818, all the way to, the 562.
If you had to call a certain spot of LA home, what would you call home?
Man, it's hard because I'm pretty much a nomad.
Okay.
I've moved around a lot,
Yeah.
throughout the years, since I was a kid, until now. Now I pretty much live in the southeast, right, southeast
Okay.
LA, but and then I work my full time job. I work
Yeah.
in Brentwood, so I know all of LA pretty much like the back of my hand. I don't know. It's hard for me to say like what my true, like, where I consider home,
Yeah.
because I love Los Angeles,
Okay.
but I don't know. I kind of, I would have to say that, Hollywood maybe, because I kind of had some roots there growing up, and so I would say like that part of town is real for me. And so I love that side of town. I know you, Ronak, you love the harbor area. I know
Yeah.
you're a big harbor area guy. You want to put the harbor area on the
Yeah.
map, which you have.
Yeah.
I think you're pretty well known out in this area, and so I appreciate that about you. Is that like you've never gone to the hype, right?
Yeah, it's because some of my idols that come from this side of the town, right?
Mm-hmm.
They forget about us, man. And I always promised myself as a child, like I'm gonna make it. I don't know how or what, doing what, but when I do,
Yeah.
the hard barriers coming with me.
Oh, for sure, for sure. You got to stay true to who you, to your roots, and so you just have to be that way.
And to your knowledge, brother, what are your early beginnings of grabbing your caps? Like those early stages, like what were those very first stages of getting into caps for you?
I would probably say, like, as far as I can remember, maybe not even a teenager yet, like 9 or 10 years old, me wanting a LA Dodger fitted,
Yeah.
that blue cap, and it's been iconic,
Yeah,
throughout,
definitely.
through all my life, and I'm sure for other people as well. And so I think my, as far as I can remember, is asking my mom to buy me a LA Dodger hat,
Yeah.
and she wanted to buy me, like, a cheap one, snapback or something like that, and I was like, that's not the one, you know what I
That's
mean?
not the one right
Yeah,
there.
she's like, this one's good though, and I'm like, nah, it's not, and so me always wanting a fitted hat was
Yeah.
like the beginning for me, as far as like hats have always been an accessory to me that put a fit together
Yeah.
and told a story, right? Like,
Yeah.
I think that when you look at something like that, you're like, oh, that's a nice hat, and like we know where that person is coming from, right?
And it's crazy because some individuals could identify themselves by just the ball cap that they're wearing, right? Like for somebody, a ball cap might just mean a baseball team, but
Yeah.
for somebody
Oh,
else,
for sure.
it means the world to them.
For sure. It could also be dangerous.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Right? It could also be dangerous, especially in the times that we grew up in, the times that I grew up in, in the 80s, 90s, early 2000s. There's definitely been a lot of symbolic meaning behind the type of fitted that you're wearing.
And would you say that fitteds were a bit different back then than what they are today as far as quality?
I think over time, yes, the material has changed. It's been like there was for a long time. I think they used wool,
Okay.
and wool was a heavier material. You sweated a lot more in it for
Yeah.
sure, and it could shrink. Obviously, I think over time, whoever's making a hat, I'm talking about New Era now specifically, but their materials have changed to kind of to make that brand be better, right?
Okay.
And so wool, polyester.
Yeah.
I don't know so much about cotton, but I know now that it's definitely a mixture of both, with polyester and some wool.
Okay. Yeah, because I know I'm the type of guy that when I wear something, I always want to look into like, damn, how's this thing made? That's just me though.
Right.
Like I could go to get something to eat, and I'll see somebody making something, and I'm just like, how do they make that?
Right.
So for
Right.
me, my early stages of grabbing a cap was looking into how they were made because for me it was hard to get just one cap
For
as
sure.
a kid. Coming from bottom zero and then trying to get to, get yourself a good cap. It was a tough situation.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, you look at it now, a ball cap right now, a nice one could go anywhere from like $100 to even more.
Well, for sure. Depending on the material, depending on the company, right? I think standard is probably you're looking at a good $65 is I think I've
Yeah.
seen like at retail, right? Like that as high as I think it's reasonable still. But anything over that is just kind of like, okay, do I really need this hat? You know what I mean?
Am I willing to not eat out week for this
Yeah.
cap?
Might willing to eat some ramen for the month, you know?
Yeah.
But I mean it is what it is. Like now that I'm grown up and I have my own money and I'm able to like, spend on what I like. It's kind of dangerous, right? Because like as a collector, I used to buy everything just because like I thought it was cool to do that.
Yeah.
And like following the trend, and I want to be able to have this hat because so and so has the hat. Now I don't really care about that.
Okay.
I'd much more rather buy stuff that I love, and I started to tell myself that is that if I don't love the hat,
Yeah.
then I don't need it. I don't need any hat, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I don't need anything. But do I want it? Sure, I always want something.
Yeah.
But do I really love the hat? In order for me to purchase it, does it make sense? Then it's like, okay, I've narrowed down my collection because I was just like, I had too many hats, and at the end of the day, like some hats I never even wore, so I just get rid of them. You know what I mean? It's just like it's pointless.
I'm kind of guilty of that though, because I know sometimes when it comes to purchasing a cap, like, I'll purchase a cap, but I still have that mentality that I had as a child, like, damn, $60, $80.
Right.
What else can I do
Right.
with this, you know
Well,
what I
for
mean?
sure, for sure. I mean, you're a grown, you're an adult, right?
Yeah.
You got kids to feed,
Yeah.
you got mouths to feed, you got to feed yourself, right? You got to pay the bills. Like, is it really? That's why I'm saying, like, is it really something that I want, or is it something that I need? I never really need a hat. Right?
Yeah.
It's not. So I can't justify it that way. But is it something that I really love? Is when I'm like, maybe I don't really need it.
Maybe I could put it back down.
Yeah, for sure,
Or-
because there'll always be something that'll come back around.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, okay, I like this better.
Yeah, and like I've had these conversations with ex partners, like a significant other, where they're kind of like, do you really need that cap? And you get home. And like, oh, how much you pay for that? And why'd you get that? And why do you need so many hats? You only have one.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You only got one head, right? It's
Yeah.
like,
And
I
it's
get
like-
it.
It's like, I guess it's to each his own, like understanding like the value that it means to you.
For sure.
Because I don't expect somebody else to understand why I love caps so much.
Right.
And Especially not a woman because they don't wear caps like that. I mean, some do. No disrespect to any women
Right,
out there,
right.
but some do.
Yeah, oh, for sure. I mean, I know some women collectors, and they definitely, you know, are able to wear it well, right?
Yeah.
They have their own style, and it's cool to see that too, like how it's evolved into you know, hat collectors, you know, being of all ages, all genders, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
all styles.
I don't want nobody to be like, "Oh, this guy doesn't like women." It's nothing like
No,
that.
no, definitely
No,
not. Definitely not. That's not what it. That's not the case.
It's just understanding.
For sure.
And do you kind of remember what that first cap looked like for you? Like, what kind of cap was it? Was it like a Dodger cap?
Yeah, it was a LA Dodger cap. You know, just a basic
Yeah.
on field baseball hat that the Dodgers wore. There wasn't much to it. I think after that, like, it's crazy because like I wouldn't only just wear fitted hats. Like I had bucket hats. That was a big. That was like the style,
Yeah.
right? At that time was like bucket hats, beanies.
Okay.
Because I did grow up in the era of like a lot of graffiti, a lot of gang banging at that
Yeah.
time. So you kind of had to watch out for what you wore. I remember that I had a Chicago White Sox. I had a Chicago White Sox bucket hat,
Yeah.
and it reminded me of like when because I mean I grew up watching Cypress Hill.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like Cypress was a big you know, icon for me growing up. Like, you know, I looked up to the style that they had, and so like I always remember DJ Muggs wearing a bucket hat.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like I try to like emulate that, you know what I mean? And so I grew up in that era. That was just my era of style. You know what I mean? Big baggy pants, white t-shirts, right? Con art shirts. You know what I mean? Like that was.
We didn't have what we have today. We're like the tighter the jeans, the better.
Yeah, no. Ripped jeans, tight
Yeah.
jeans. Like I'm not with all that. You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean that. So I wore all kinds of hats, and I still do. I have some old hats.
And do you feel that style has a lot to do with choosing the cap, like matching with the right shoe, the right shirt? Is that something that you take pride
I mean,
in?
at least for me, yes, absolutely. It completes like the style that I have.
Yeah.
It completes like colors, right? Like I don't know, like at least for me, like yes, absolutely. And it sucks because like not only do I like hats, I also like shoes.
Yeah.
So like if I don't have a certain shoe or a certain color that I'm trying to match up with hats, it's annoying, right? It's definitely frustrating because it's my own like OCD where like I need to have a shoe in order to like match certain hats.
Yeah.
And then once I have that color, I'm good, but it's very far and few between. Now I have what I need, but yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't only wear fitted hats, like I was saying.
Yeah.
I also wear like I've had hats that my grandfather had that he's passed down to me, which are more like a derby hat, kind of like
Okay.
smaller with
Yeah.
the rounded back. I have those.
Oh, so you have some antiques.
I do. I mean, they don't look antique, but you know, they're not gonna fall apart. But Kangos, like I own some Kangos. I don't always wear them, but I have them.
You got them from like back in the day or recent?
I have a newer Kango bucket that I've always wanted because it reminded me of LL Cool J.
Yeah.
So I always liked that style of bucket. And then I have some of my grandfather's hats that were Kangos.
Oh, wow.
And then I have like a fedora.
Okay.
A nice fedora that I love. It's in a box, put away. I'll wear it every once in a while. It was expensive too. Those things aren't cheap. A couple $100, you know. So yeah, I'm a hat guy.
Yeah.
I definitely love hats. All styles.
At what age do you think you identified that though? Like knowing that, you know what, this is more than just buying a cap for me. This is something that I kind of want to pursue at a higher professional level rather than just go to the mall and buy a cap.
I mean, that's a good question. I don't know. It's kind of hard because like I wasn't really paying attention to like when it changed for me. I think that it became a part of me probably in the last 10 years.
Oh, okay.
Where like it kind of just evolved into something different for me, where it's just kind of a part of me. Now I don't really leave the house without a hat.
Okay, so it was kind of later on in life for you. Like,
Yeah, for sure,
Yeah.
for sure. I don't think it. I mean, I hate to say it, like it's part of my identity,
Yeah.
but at the same time, like it kind of is. Like when I think about it, I'm like, yeah, I'm a hat guy, and I'm always probably gonna wear a hat unless like I'm not allowed to. I've walked into nice restaurants and they're like, hey, you can't wear your hat in the restaurant.
Oh, that's happened to me.
You know, I'm like, maybe I'm in the wrong fucking place, dude.
Yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I
yeah.
mean?
I'm gonna politely have to ask you to please remove that cap.
Yeah. Or they've told me like once you sit down at the table,
Yeah.
you can't wear your hat, and I'm like thinking, you know what? As a gentleman,
Yeah.
I think that I always try and like recognize that once I sit at the table and I'm gonna eat,
Yeah.
I take my hat off. That's something that I think unconsciously I've done.
Yeah.
I just feel more comfortable with my hat off when I'm eating.
Okay. That's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know why I do it. Maybe it's just something that I took on over time.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's just what I do.
Have you ever been out there without a cap and someone kind of says, "Hey, bro, what happened to your cap?" You
No,
you never
no, I
got-
don't think so.
you
I
never
don't.
got caught slipping without a
No,
cap?
no, I don't think so. I don't think so. Maybe if I'm in the water or something out in the river, you know what I mean? So that's different. I remember even wearing a buoy hat. You know what a buoy hat is?
Yeah.
I've worn buoy hats in the river, like
Okay.
just to cover my head from the sun. You know?
Got you.
Yeah.
You know, I was watching this mini documentary with New Era Buffalo where they started explaining how they went about changing color waves.
Yeah.
There was this is one ball player, I forgot his name, but he was a baseball player, and he played for the New York Yankees, I believe. I don't know if it was the New York Yankees or the Cubs, but I believe it was the Yankees. And he was I think he was part of the Yankees, but was gonna go play the Cubs.
No, so this is what happened. So Spike Lee, you know what Spike Lee is?
That sounds very familiar.
Yeah, so Spike Lee is a big movie, producer.
Okay.
Big New York Knicks fan, big Yankees fan,
Yeah.
right? He's big New York all over.
Okay.
So that's just who he is, right? And so what happened is that he wanted a red Yankees hat,
Yeah.
and he reached out to New Era to see if they could get it done. And so that's kind of like where it started with colorways.
Okay.
And then other people were like, "Hey, we need a red Yankees hat. We need this color to be this. This hat needs to be this color." And it kind of started the trend of like people starting to
Wear different
have,
colors.
have more of designer caps is what they're
Yeah.
called. So that's kind of where it all rolled out.
You know, bro, what was your first experience as a collector where you kind of like felt like, damn, I made it? As far as like the media wise.
I mean, it's hard. It's hard for me to like say that because it's like I'm not a celebrity.
Yeah.
Like people that know about hats that have been in the community for a long time,
Yeah.
like for sure, like know that, like I'm a big collector, like I've done some cool stuff.
Yeah.
But I try to be as humble as possible when it comes to that because like I don't want to have a big head and think that I'm better than somebody because I've been able to see certain things or be certain places or be asked to do certain things or collaborate with certain people. I try to be as humble as possible and know that like for me, like I don't know that I've made it, right? Like I'd like to say like I've been blessed to be able to experience some cool stuff in my life. But I don't ever want to like feel that I'm bigger or better than anyone.
No, I salute you for that, brother.
No, I appreciate it. And that kind of keeps me leveled, right?
Okay.
It kind of keeps me to like where I don't like I keep myself small.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even though like sometimes yes, like people may think whatever they may think about me. Somebody's always gonna have something to say.
Whether it's negative or positive.
For sure. I mean, for sure. Like I know that I like in the hat community, I don't go out as much, right? I don't stand in lines. I don't be hanging out with a bunch of people. You know what I mean? Like I'm not out there, and I have a reason for that. One is because like I'm tired, right? Like I go to work, I have a 9 to 5, and I do a lot of other stuff outside of work, right?
Yeah.
That like I have other stuff, supplemental income that I need to like make happen. And so, working for the Clink room, doing my own content,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know how it is. Like it's never ending, right? And so
It's a tough task, man.
oh,
It's a
for
tough
sure,
task.
for sure. I mean, I don't, I leave that for people that don't have other stuff going on
Yeah.
where they have time to do that. Great.
Maybe like a teenager, just a mom and dad.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I mean, whatever it is, right? But
Because I could speak from my experiences, brother. Right? I remember the very first time I got that big check for painting a mural. Right? That's when I felt like, damn.
I mean, for sure.
That was a big
Oh,
moment for me.
for sure. And you can, and don't get me wrong. Like inside, I'm like, wow, right? Like this is crazy, right? Like
Yeah.
I am doing something great. I am good, right?
Yeah.
And those are reassurance that I am doing something cool.
Yeah.
But I also don't have to be an asshole about it to
Gotcha.
people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because for me, I could touch a little bit about it. Coming from a surrounding neighborhood or area where everybody just hates each other for no odd reason. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
And you kind of carry that with you.
Oh, yeah.
Where like you'll be right there. For example, me, I'll be there spraying something like, damn, am I good enough?
Right.
But I'm so used to hearing so much negativity
Oh yeah.
that when the positivity enters through the door, I'm kind of like, are you sure?
Yeah. What's fear based, right?
Yeah.
I like to believe like, am I living in fear or am I living in faith, right? And when I'm living in faith, like I don't have room for fear. You know what I'm saying? Like I have faith in myself. I have faith in whatever I believe in. And so being able to like know that you're good enough,
Yeah.
it's like you try and block out the outside noise because just like we talked about, there's always going to be somebody like hating you for no reason.
You could be wearing. I decided to wear green today. Screw that guy. He thinks he's all that.
Yeah. Why is he wearing green? It's like, like I had to get out of that habit too because growing up, all I ever wore was white, gray, black, dark blue, right? Like blue.
I'm a
like,
victim of the same thing.
Yeah, like I was only like I was only taught to wear that, right? Because like if you wore anything outside of that, like you might be a punk. You know what I mean? Or whatever the case may have been, right? And so like growing up, as I got out of that, I started to realize that I loved colors, right?
Yeah.
And so then I like know like my favorite color now is like red, purple, and then all the other shades that I like, right?
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, so I mean it's a learning process, you know what I mean? Growing up is definitely, it shows you a lot more about who you are and the world, and it should be a better place, and for whatever reason it's not, and that's okay. Like I don't have to live in that,
So I wanted to dive a little bit into content creation because I believe it's fair to say that we both are, in a way, content creators, right?
For sure.
It's something that not many understand. Something new to older heads, and it comes with a lot of positivity and a lot of negativity as well, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think it's more negative than positive in my experiences.
Yeah.
What is your take on that?
I enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's definitely fun for me. I love taking photos. I guess you could say I'm pretty photogenic. I'm not afraid to like step out of my comfort zone when it comes to that. And then continuing to learn more and more about content creation because it can be easy and then it can't be. The more technical you get with camera usage, right? You're using better cameras. You're not using your phone anymore. You have equipment. You have to learn about, editing, stuff like that, right? I was just talking to one of my friends today about it, about like cameras, and then the difference between like then you got to edit, right? And so I don't know. Yes, like you said, there is some negativity behind it. I think it's just because certain people aren't doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, they just want to be trolls about it, right?
They want to look at you like, screw that guy.
Yeah.
He's living my dream while I'm over here.
Oh,
doing
for sure.
nothing.
For sure. I've had people like, oh, only girls do that. You know what I mean? Or, like, why, it's like, I've had so much like negative, comments, right? And my reaction to that is like right away, I want to be like, like fire back. Yeah. But then I know that I have way more going for me than somebody who has the time to just be on the internet trolling. Yeah, and so I don't say anything, or I have the right. You know, the best thing that I was taught, right?
Yeah.
And this was taught to me by Casey,
Yeah.
is that the best tool
Yeah.
is the block tool. It's like they go away. That's it.
Yeah.
Poof, they're gone. You know what I mean?
That's what I do, brother, to be honest, because I've got some crazy stuff.
Right.
I'll just restrict it, and if it's really that bad, I'll block it.
Oh, for sure.
And once I restrict it, there's no going back, bro. I just.
Yeah, and it's like later on, I don't even think about it anymore.
Yeah.
Like I forgot about what happened. It's amazing.
What was one of the craziest comments you think you received that to you was just humor? That you were just at the house,
man,
like, hear this guy over here.
I don't know. That's a good question. I'm trying. I mean, there's been so much like bull, just that's been said to me, and it's from usually people that I don't know. Right? Because at the end of the day, like if I was walking down the street or I was in a crowd of people that knew who I was, I guarantee you they wouldn't say that.
I get you.
They wouldn't approach me. They wouldn't say what they would say on the internet.
Look away.
Yeah, well, for sure. The internet's is
a drug.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of look. The people that do that, right? The trolls, they're just a bunch of punks.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, they wouldn't do that. You know what I mean? They just wouldn't.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. But content creation is fun for me. I like doing it. I honestly think that I'm gonna dive deeper into it. Okay. I want to learn some more stuff about it, and so like right now I'm in that like kind of phase of like moving into something different, but still doing the same, right? Yeah. I think I just want to dive into some more, tools. Cameras, videos,
and now we got AI, brother, like our artificial intelligence and something else, man.
Yeah, no, for sure. I haven't done it. Yeah. I haven't even done it with, like at work. Like you can artificially, do an email.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Like you could type in like, hey, say this for me, and it'll do it for you.
Oh wow.
But I mean, maybe one day when I'm really lazy, I'll do that. But I mean, as of right now, I've never dove into it, so I don't really know what it consists of.
Painter, artist, I thought it was gonna really impact the community, but as of right now, AI, it could pop out some really nice images, but there's just certain things that they can't really hit yet.
Right.
So it still needs some developing.
Oh, for sure. I mean, that's gonna take time. If it progresses, maybe it'll be something that is definitely useful. It's probably useful to some people right now, like certain things that need to be done, minor, right? But not for you to completely create with AI. You know what I mean? It's not authentic. When you think about it, it's not authentic. Why would you want to be like not authentic, right?
No, I get you. How many times do you get this, brother, that people want and you're like, hey man, can I get a cap?
Oh, dude. It's like the worst thing you could ask me, right? Yeah. It's like, hey, anything, right? Like, can you do this for me for free? It's like, or people think that we get stuff for free, right? Yeah. And it's like nothing's for free in this world,
you
right?
Do something.
Oh, for sure. There's either an even trade or it's like, hey, we do this and this is what happens, right? So yeah, like I mean, people think that me just standing somewhere taking a photo is like that's all I do, but at the end of the day, like I'm using gas.
Yeah.
I'm buying clothes. I'm getting certain things ready. I gotta go scout walls, right? Like I gotta go, here, there. I need this backdrop. You know what I mean? Like it's all work, right? It's all work. Nothing's for free. And then people reach out to me like, hey, can you do this for us? This is what we need. This is what the pay is, or this is what it's gonna be, right? So like for sure, like nothing's for free. And then along with that, they give you the material to use in order to make stuff happen.
Okay.
So it's an annoying question. You know what I mean? Like, hey, can I get a cap? No, go buy it.
How do you go about scouting a wall? Like, what about a wall gravitates you?
So in my mind, even if I'm not shooting or like I'm not looking for something, if I run into something, I'll take a picture of it. Yeah. And then I come back to it. Okay. Right. Because at some point I know that I'm gonna need that backdrop. Yeah. Or I know what that certain area means to me. Like, so I'm like, oh, I have the perfect stuff for that. Yeah. And then take a picture of it, come back to it. Right.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's definitely a process, man. Trying to find the right wall to match the theme of the hat or whatever it is.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
And sometimes it could take a couple of days.
Oh,
to
it's
find the right
annoying.
wall.
It's annoying. It's definitely it's hard. It's work, right? And so like last week we were talking,
Yeah.
and I was like sweating my ass off.
Yeah.
We're at a place that I found, and I was just like, I had to work quick because
Yeah.
like the sun is my worst enemy right now.
Man, tell me about it, brother. I was filming a video the other day,
Yeah,
and it was hot, bro.
yeah, hot,
I'm
hot.
pouring sweat out there,
Yeah,
man, bro.
you're trying to work quick.
Yeah, I'm just trying to finish.
Oh,
already.
for sure. I get that. I mean, it happens to me all the time. It happens to me all the time.
You know, because there's only a certain amount of wall that's gonna be purple. There's only a certain amount of wall you're gonna find that's
Mhm.
green. So it's definitely a procedure to get to. the
Oh
wall.
yeah, no, I mean definitely. And sometimes it doesn't work out, and it doesn't happen all the time.
Yeah.
I hope that it doesn't. You know, just but there's sometimes where I'm just like I'm not feeling it,
Yeah.
and I just need to just wrap up and just not do nothing today. You know what I mean?
Have you ever been shooting and someone kind of like bugs you? Like for me, I could say that there's some of the times where I'll be out painting a mural or something, and hey, who told you could write right there? Or,
Yeah.
hey, what are you doing?
Oh, for sure. I was recently trying to shoot at Mr. Cartoon's new mural in downtown,
Okay,
the Boss Lady Gentlemen's Club.
okay.
And I was trying to get some good, photos with the backdrop of the wall. And security guard was like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm shooting photos." And he was like, "You can't do that." And I'm like, "I mean, last time I checked, this is a sidewalk.
Yeah,
This is public property." And he's like, "Oh, I don't do that, man." You know what I mean? And I was like, "You know what? Let me just shoot a couple more photos and I'll be out of your way."
yeah.
He's like, "Nah, that's it. You're done." And I was like, I said, "You don't have to be an asshole about it, dude." And he's like, "Oh, you don't have to talk." I'm saying, "You know what? Whatever, dude."
Yeah.
I just packed up my stuff and I left. But it can be annoying sometimes,
Yeah.
and sometimes I can overstep my boundary by like saying the wrong thing to somebody. But I try my best to be cool with people. I even had asked him beforehand. I was like, "Hey, is it cool if I shoot?" And he was like, "Yeah, whatever." I don't know what happened in between that time.
Yeah.
But I mean, it is what it is. I've had stuff like that happen to me before, or somebody's just kind of. I think I've had more positive of like, "Oh, that's cool," like "Oh, you shoot, oh, that's a cool hat," you know what I mean? So I've had some good experience, and then I've had some like annoying experiences. You know what I mean?
I could say the same, man. It's a tricky game out there, man.
Oh, for
Definitely
sure.
tricky.
For sure.
I also want to congratulate you and dive into your interview that went on national TV, on TV. Your interview when they came out and they interviewed you.
Oh, with the news.
Yeah.
Yeah,
How was that
thank.
for you?
It was cool. It was cool. Well, you and I had met Jill Painter.
Yeah.
Right, for Channel 9 or 5. It was both channels. I think they're both.
We were in downtown LA.
Yeah. With Never,
Yeah.
and Joyce, right?
Yeah.
So that was cool when he did his mural in front of Prosody. And so it was cool to kind of like have that happen eventually. I didn't know if it was gonna happen. I was kind of like nervous that I was like, maybe they were just like whatever, But it happened, and it was a cool experience. Like I liked the energy that she brought.
Okay.
And it was cool to have that experience and kind of share my experience of collecting caps, with her and pretty much LA County, whoever saw it, right?
Yeah.
It's funny because there was some negative comments on that. You know what I mean? Like somebody's like, "Oh, it's a slow day in the news world today, huh?" And I was just like, I mean, whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not happening for you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So another hateful comment person that was just kind of like bitter that.
No, knock down my shine.
Yeah, don't knock down my shine, bro. Like it's it's why you got to throw shade,
Yeah.
So I mean, whatever. I mean, it was fun. It was fun.
So I want to dive into the Clink Room, brother.
Okay.
Shout out to Clink Room, man.
Yeah.
People. Shout out to the whole crew
Oh,
out there.
for sure.
And just dive into how did that come into your life for you?
Man, I think around 2012, I used to do a hat blog on the internet.
Oh, you had a hat blog.
I had a hat blog.
Okay.
And I would like visit certain stores. So there was like Hat Club Santa Monica. There was New Era on Melrose.
Okay.
There was other stores online that I was doing hat blogs on, writing about it, taking photos of just my hats at the time, and then posting them on my blog.
Yeah.
And I reached out to Casey of the Clink Room, and I was like, "Hey, what do you think about the stuff that I'm doing?" And he's like, "You should take more photos, and you're doing great."
Yeah.
And I was like, "All right, cool." I still have that email.
Yeah.
And I started doing that, and then kind of I went through a rough patch in my life where I wasn't really feeling like doing that as much anymore.
Yeah.
I was still collecting hats, but I wasn't able to like do the blog as much, and kind of lost focus with that. And then around 2020 when COVID hit,
Yeah.
Casey relaunched the Clink Room again.
Also, it was launched and then he stopped it.
Yeah, I think it went on for a couple years, maybe from like, I'm trying to think, like 2010, 11, somewhere around there, to about 2013, and then his focus was like on other stuff because he was doing other stuff with with branding.
Yeah.
And then he had Brandios at the time, him and Jason. And then what ended up happening was he relaunched the Clink Room in 2020.
Yeah.
And then I reached out to him again and submitted some stuff for King Clink, who was my hat, was with like the first hat I ever did as far as like for the Clink Room.
Oh, so you already were fully aware what the Clink Room was?
Oh, for sure.
Through the blog.
Oh, for sure,
Okay.
for sure. I was collecting already then Clink Room hats.
Yeah.
I still have all the like some original Clink Room hats from back then.
Yeah.
And so when I submitted my hat in 2020, is when like everything started to relaunch again, and started to have a better relation, not a better, but like a new relationship with the Clink Room.
Yeah.
And I was able to eventually start doing content with them, and it just it flourished into more of, yes, it was business, and it still is, but at the same time, like I still have ties and friendships that I've built over the years. Especially like with like people that I personally know, like Chamuco, which is Ephra, and then Aaron Bird, which is Smart Ice, and then Casey, right, and then other people that work for the Clink Room, like Holly and Sarah. I only know through email, but eventually I know that it's a tight family, and so we'll go, and then I've met Jason from Brandios, and so that it's just been a good experience, right? It's more of a family thing than it is like work.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I mean, you've got to experience some stuff where they've been able to like, take care of you, and
It's definitely been an amazing journey for me. I never thought that the cap community had any love for the graffiti culture.
I mean, when you think about it, though, like, right? Like, when I think about it, like, fitteds have been a big part of, like, hip-hop.
Yeah.
And then hip-hop has been a big part of graffiti. And then graffiti, hip-hop, and then, like, urban streetwear.
Yeah.
Right? When you think about going back to, like, Con Art, Fresh Jive, I'm trying to think of other brands, that Jenko.
Okay.
Like all that stuff was like stuff that breakdancers wore, graffiti artists wore, 8-ball pants, all that stuff. Like I used to have all that stuff, you know what I mean? So like all that stuff like is intertwined, at least for me. When I think about that type of culture, you just had somebody that was a heavy hitter on here that I told you about that I used to visit the hip hop shop when I was younger, and I kind of grew up around Melrose, so like I've never really left that side of town. Because I kind of always knew like what has been there, and I have friends that have shops there. You know what I mean? Tattoo shops, and then I've had people that work there. That whole scene has always like kind of been the same, and it's changed over time a little bit, but it's always kind of been known for like all that culture that I was just talking about.
One of my goals is to one day put all that culture in one cap with the Clink. I just got to sit there and really dive into files and.
For sure.
Culture. Something that could really represent that culture, I think, would be amazing.
Oh, for sure.
Because like I mentioned, brother, like, I just never thought that anybody in the cap world was interested in graffiti. You know what I mean? And throughout the time that I've been working with the Clink Room, it's just like I open up another door.
Oh yeah.
And open up another door of people that really enjoy it,
Right.
to be able to draw something and have it on a hat, but then to have it live painted on a wall, it's just a crazy experience.
Yeah. 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 It's fun, man. It's fun. It's definitely fun to be part of the culture and like community, like hat community, and then be able to like meet new people. Like when I met you, right? Like
Yeah.
I just walked into where I walked into. I met you at a graffiti store,
Yeah.
and I was trying to get a hat done, painted, right? And you and I just started talking, and so that's what I'm saying. Like to be able to meet people, and
Yeah.
it just kind of just happens, right? And then like stuff just starts to snowball, and like if you're not open to being like nice,
Yeah.
right, and not a hater, like things happen for you.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
That's how I am, bro. Like if I see you, hey man, what's up? How you
Yeah,
doing?
for sure.
I'm not gonna sit there and act like, man, hey,
Yeah,
this
yeah.
guy over here.
Yeah,
You know
for
what I
sure,
mean?
for sure. And look, naturally, like I've told people this, like naturally, I grew up kind of like angry,
Yeah.
so I grew up kind of hateful.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I understand, like by default, I'm a kind of a hateful person,
Yeah.
and I've grown. I've started like little by little, gradually from my younger days till now. Like that's changed. I've evolved, right?
Yeah.
To be like, if I'm gonna be angry and hateful, nobody's gonna want to be around me. You know what I mean? So I've learned to like adapt to, hey, it's really nice. It's good to be nice to people.
Yeah, you're definitely right, brother. 'Cause I could say the same for myself. And as I got older, I started understanding like I really don't gotta prove nothing to nobody.
Nobody.
Like if you want to hang out, we could hang out.
Yeah.
If you want to hate me, go and hate me.
Oh, for sure.
I'm just worried about keeping the lights on.
Yeah. Right.
That's one of my biggest
Right.
responsibilities right now.
Oh, for sure.
And I know you mentioned brand. You said brand noise,
Brandiose.
brand noise.
Uh-huh.
Is that like a brother to the Clink Room?
Yes. So Brandiose is more of, they did logos, branding, rebranding for the minor leagues, like
Yeah.
minor league baseball. So, and then they have also done some stuff through the Clink Room, right?
Yeah.
And so it kind of like was, kind of moved over into the Clink Room. So there's designs that have been done by Brandiose
Yeah.
for the Clink Room. But when I think about Brandiose and the Clink Room, it's like pretty much the same, because like the logos kind of had the same feel, right? So Brandiose was Jason, which is Casey's partner,
Yeah.
and Casey. So they both had they were both, that's their company.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You being and there for like the early beginnings of the Clink Room, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever think it was to become to what it became today, and it keeps growing?
I didn't really think about it until, more recently. We're like, it's just like it's a machine, right? Like it just keeps moving,
Yeah.
right? And it just keeps growing, right? And I'm really proud to say that that I've been able to like work within that, and be helpful. And so I never thought, I mean, I don't know. I don't want to say I never thought that it would be what it is today,
Yeah.
but I definitely, I'm happy. I'm happy that it is,
Yeah.
I'm hoping that it just continues to flourish,
Okay. Definitely, it's something. I mean, for me, it's like a painting, right? Like somebody comes up with an idea, puts it on a cap, then it got to get submitted, then people got to vote for it. Like it's such a big procedure, not big procedure, but such an exciting procedure that when you're finally approved, it's kind of like I'm in.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's exciting.
Yeah.
It's definitely cool to see something that you thought about in your mind. You're envisioning something, and it comes to life, right? It's the same thing with painting, right? Like you're painting something, or you put it on a piece of, you sketch it out, then you're looking at the sketch, and then you're putting it on a wall, and when it happens, I know that you've done a lot of cool stuff with cities, and like people ask you to do certain murals, right? It's definitely it's prideful. It helps with, like, it's esteemable, right?
Yeah. And I also wanted to touch, brother. I know there's other brothers on the Clink that represent Clink Room as ambassadors. Do you ever have someone kind of like reach out and, hey man, like, can you give me a pointer here or there?
Oh, for sure.
Or is it kind of like I stay in my lane, you stay here?
No. I think it's a brotherhood, right? Like it's a brotherhood, sisterhood, because there's definitely some women that have designed too. I don't want to like leave them out, right? But it's definitely I just had somebody today ask me my opinion about something, and I was like, by all means, that looks great. Like, what, maybe think about doing that. You know what I mean? Like throwing that color in there, and so it's definitely we try to help each other out, and grow together,
'Cause I know there's also other creators as content creators involved, right?
Yeah.
That are out there. So I guess I'm just asking, like, do they ever kind of like, hey man, how you doing? I'm over here.
Yeah.
Is it kind of like, hey,
No. We talk. You know what I mean? And definitely, I've never. I don't think I've. I'm trying to think if I've created with other people besides you. We've done some stuff together, right? Like pictures and video, and trying to help each other out. Like, hey, can you film this for me? And then, hey, can you take these pictures from? So it's definitely it's cool to do that. I think it's harder to create together with certain people that are ambassadors of the Clink Room, because everybody's so spread out. Right?
You're right.
So you got one guy that's in like Texas. You got another guy that's like in the Far Valley. You got another guy that's in Canada. I'm trying to think of who. Yeah, they're spread out for sure. I think you and I are like the only ones that are close to each other, right? So. Yeah, I mean it's fun to be able to do that, and it's probably cooler to do it with people that you're close to,
For me, I think I go off of vibes, right? Like, if I was to meet one of them, to me it's just a vibe. Like, if you're cool, I'm cool.
Yeah, I know, for sure.
But if I pull up and you're kind of looking at me like, hey man, who the hell is this guy over here? Get him out of here. Then I guess I would respond the same way.
Oh yeah, I don't know. I mean, I haven't had a bad experience with people, just because like I don't want to treat somebody. I mean, I want to treat people the way I want to be treated, So I try my best to like not be mean.
Definitely. I've had some messages for the Clink Room. Just people that find me. I think the most recent one was this guy messaged me in Spanish. He was from Colombia. And he was asking me like, hey man, I'm over here all the way in Colombia. Can I still submit? I'm like, I don't see why not, bro.
Yeah, no, you definitely can.
And then he was like, oh, this is my design. What do you think? I was like, yeah, man. Get it. Don't be scared, bro. The worst they could say is no.
Right.
And you learn from your mistake, and you'll put another one in, and one will make it.
Right.
And then he sent me like a whole letter on Instagram where he was like, oh man, thank you, and thank you for supporting me even though you don't know me. And I'm like, it's all love, bro. Like, no one's bigger than the cat here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, for sure. I think that a lot of times, like, for me at least, like sometimes, like there's certain things that like I'm annoyed about or I want to get pissed off about, but then I have to bring myself back. Like I was saying, is that people kind of look up to you sometimes, right?
Yeah.
And you don't ever know like who you might like inspire, and then who you might like the people that are like what's the word, that gravitate towards you.
Yeah.
Because I've ran into kids, whether it be at Disneyland, when I'm at Disneyland, whether I'm on the street, whether I'm at a Kings game. I've had kids come up to me and be like, hey, you're Cat Fiend, right? They're like, oh, can I get a picture? And I'm like, yeah, I mean, cool. I mean, it's still weird to me, right? Because like I don't think of myself as a celebrity. I'm not, right? And so like it's cool to like be able to see that. And so I always kind of have to watch my tone with people on the internet. I have to be careful of what I say, what I put out. what I portray because people are watching and so are kids. Yeah, and so yeah, exactly. So like if I'm negative in any way, I could lose an opportunity for something really cool because I decided that I wanted to be a dick.
Yeah, you know, there might be a kid out there that his dad's some big scout for some company, and you tell him, "Hey,
Right.
Dad, I'm busy right now. Leave me alone." Hey, Dad, don't mess with that guy. Leave him alone.
Right. So you know, it's you. I have to be aware, and I think sometimes like, dude, the internet's a big place, right? Like it's you can't hide from it. Most for the most part.
Especially when you start showing your face a lot. Like for me, it's hard for me to be like, "Hey, ironic." Nah, man. And like it's
Yeah, I mean for sure. I mean, there's certain people I know that do not want to have like their face publicized or I'm not doing anything negative, right? Like I'm not doing anything that's against the law. At least I don't think I am. And so I don't really have anything to hide.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And the people that you know that they're trying to like keep a I don't know like a closed knit like you know they want to be publicized. That's cool too. I mean I have no that's not wrong either. Everybody has a right to what they want to do.
100%. I wanted to dive into something else too, brother. Where does the name come from, Cat Fiend? I know it's self-explanatory.
So
is there a message behind it?
No, I mean I'm a fiend, right? I'm a fiend for caps, dog. You know what I mean? I love caps, right? And I'm a fiend for them. So I will say this: that when I was that's when I was doing the hat blog is when I came up with the name.
Oh, that was the name of the blog?
Yeah, that was the name of the blog, Cat Fiend.
Oh, okay.
So I kept that name.
Yeah.
But where it originated from is like I've always been a big fan of Obey.
Okay.
Shepard Fairey, the art, right? All that stuff that he's done. And so from back in the day, he had a slogan called Obey Fiend.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, I like that. I like Fiend.
Yeah.
I like the ending of that, right? And so I put Cap in front of put Cat Fiend. Yeah. And that's just kind of been my name ever since.
Gotcha. The $1 million question.
It's catchy. You know what I mean? I've had other people be like, I've seen other people like whatever Fiend, and I'm like, yeah, whatever. It's all good. You know what I mean? So
it's not like graffiti where like
take your name.
They'll take your name or they'll change the letter, and then instead of being Ronick, now this guy's Lonick.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, when I was younger, I mean, I used to tag, I used to write, and I was never really a good like artist. I just knew how to write, and I loved letters, right? And I still appreciate all of it. I still consider myself like an artist of like appreciating all that. I still love graffiti. It's one of my passions. I don't do it as much. Every once in a while, I get a wild hair up my ass and I want to write on something.
But it's definitely, I consider an art form, knowing art. You know what I mean? Being able to speak the language, because you might be somewhere and you might know what it is, and that person might not know what it is, and that puts you in a better position. At least that's how I feel.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I used to write Ask.
Okay.
ASK.
Okay.
And I wrote for some crews when I was younger, right? I wrote for some pretty cool crews, and then I've known some pretty good, cool graffiti artists growing up, right? And I've known a lot of like the history of stuff, right? And so like when I see you talking to people, I'm like, oh, that's dope that he's talking to that person. You know what I mean? Because there's some definitely heavy hitters in the West Coast, you know? And so now I see a dude that got Ask all over the place, and I'm like, man, I wish I would have stuck with it, bro. I would see where I would have went, right?
They took what was mine.
I mean, it is what it is. I don't write anymore, so I shouldn't have no say in anything. You know what I mean? So it's cool to see that though. You know what I mean? And
I see it as part of evolution.
For sure.
It's like 500 years from now, we're gonna have another Cat Fiend.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Who knows what kind of caps
they probably won't be as good, but 100
years from now, bro, where do you see the cat community? You think they're still gonna be New Era fitted, or?
I mean, I hope so. It's been 100 years. Yeah. It's been 100 years that New Era's been around. Yeah. Over 100 years now. 70 years for the 5950 for the fitted. Yeah. It's been 70 years now. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so, and another 30 years, I hope to see it. right? I hope to see what the evolution of that is. I don't know. I'm not gonna live 100 years, no, another 100 from now, but I definitely would love to. Like, I hope to see. Like, I'm always excited to see what the future holds, right?
Gotcha.
Like, I'm excited for tomorrow. See, I don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow, but
Something's gonna happen.
for sure, for sure. Hopefully it's good, right? But yeah, I mean, we'll see.
A lot of people have this controversy where some people feel like fitted or nothing, and another guy would be like snapback or nothing,
Right.
Or another guy would be, hey, I wear whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it's a certain niche, right? It's like a certain. It takes a certain like. It calls for certain people. Fitteds are for some people and for some not, right? Like, some people love snapbacks, some people like dad hats, some people like A-frames. There's so many hat styles, right? And for me, like, I don't like the A-frame too much. It's cool. They started making fitted A-frames. It kind of has like a boxier. It kind of like it sews in the middle of the hat. So like it overlaps, and so it makes it boxy, like you iron the top of the hat.
Oh, I see what you're talking about. That's not for me.
Yeah, I mean, it's for some people, not for everybody.
Like, for me, like that 47 collection is not for me.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, yeah, for sure. I mean, it's for some people, right?
Yeah, and
for
the Mitchell and Ness, I cannot wear Mitchell and Ness neither.
I mean, there's definitely some hats that I've collected over time where like it's a Mitchell and Ness fitted, it just doesn't fit the same, right? And I have nothing bad to say about it, but at the same time, like, for me, like, my favorite all-time hat is a 5950 fitted, right? Like what we're wearing now. And I have some snapbacks. But the only reason I have them is because there's a certain like logo or a certain team that like represent, like, I love that hat. Like, oh, I need this hat, right?
So you do wear snapbacks occasionally.
It's hard as it's been a long time, right? But it's there if I want it. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, I have a few.
You just recently, I was there for your launch here at Lakewood Mall, Lids. You launched your own collection to the
Yeah, my own collection.
How was that feeling for you, brother?
It was dope because it was like it had been a long like process of trying to roll them out.
Also, there was a lot of footwork to this.
I mean, the customization thing is like when it's a full custom, because you saw them, the inside was satin. There was a different under visor, different material for the under visor. The crown, like all the outside of the hat was corduroy, certain colors, certain stitching, like all that stuff takes work and time. And so full customs is a little harder for it to come, like, to be made. And so that definitely took like about a year.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it took about a year from the point that we had to like put it all together visually and then sent it out for it to get approved. Samples are sent to look at, and then for it to be like, okay, we're ordering these are going to come at this time. So it took a year. It took a year for it to finally like hit the store.
I remember walking into Lids. I'm like, hey man, I need a cap.
Yeah.
Whatever it costs, give it to him. I'm here to support my friend. And you know what she did? She teased me, bro. She pops out all the caps and she's like, you can look at them, but they're not for sale till tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you could win early, huh? You were a fiend that day.
Yeah, no, I was just like, I was already at the mall. And you posted it. And I was already in Lakewood Mall shopping. And I was like, I'm going to go get one real quick. And then I go up there and she pops out a big old box. And
you probably should have told me. I would have just went and got you one, bro. You know what I mean? Like, I had access to them. So, but it's because they were my caps. But, yeah, it was a good feeling, bro. Like I definitely was excited about them. I don't know how well they did. I don't know what the numbers were for them. Obviously, I don't think that people. I think a lot of people just didn't think that it was the right time to release them because it was a heavier hat. Like the material was heavy and it's summer. Probably not the greatest time to release them. But eventually, those hats will be good for the certain weather.
But does that affect a further collaboration though? Like,
I don't know. I think that promotion and trying to publicize it better, it definitely would get more attention. you know, but I mean, it is what it is. Like I had a drop come and other people didn't. You know what I mean?
What is next for Captain in the future? Like, what do you think the future awaits for you?
I've always wanted to, not always, but recently, I wanna be able to, like I said, learn more about the process of directing and you know, talent, being able to not be in front of the camera as much and be behind the camera, to like kind of, shoot, content for people. And that's something that's been turning in my head lately. And so we'll see what happens. I'm probably need to learn some more and then probably, help, produce stuff like that.
I know you're a big Born and Raised fan.
Yeah, I love it.
Have you had a chance to collaborate with him?
No, that'd be cool to do.
It's coming. It'll come. It's coming.
Yeah, it'd be fun. It'd be fun to be able to just be a part of it. Like I looked up so much to Chris, right, Sponto, and Alex, Two Tone. They definitely. I've always had just an inspiration behind them, you know what I mean, and where they've come from, and what they've done, at a large scale of producing hats and clothing, and I never personally knew Sponto, face to face. I've had some conversations with him in DM, and then when he passed, it like really fucked me up. It's weird, you know what I mean?
Like someone that you knew it was gonna come, and then it's just boom, he's gone.
Yeah, for sure. And so it's strange. Like there's certain people like in the world or whatever, where like something happens and like you feel it. And I think it's just because you connect.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I have those situations with artists where like I'm just so fascinated by their art, I kind of feel like I know them.
Yeah, no, for sure.
But I don't.
Yeah.
And
you're connected to it.
Yeah, I'm connected to the art and them, even though I don't know them. And I've also had situations where like I'm just so connected with the art, and I meet the artist, and he's just a douchebag. You know what I mean? And he's just like, yeah, man, whatever. Yeah, whatever, man. Yeah, whatever.
It sucks, right?
Yeah, it sucks.
It sucks to meet somebody. I've had that with athletes, because I've met a lot of athletes and not a lot, but I've met some athletes that I like,
yeah,
and I think there's been like one where like he was just a dick, and I was just like, man, that's kind of fucked up. Yeah. I was like, you know what? Matter of fact, I don't even watch your signature anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I mean, that gets back to what I was saying. Like people look up to you. Yeah. Like you gotta be nice. You know what I mean? Like be cool, man.
You never know. That athlete might need something one day.
Oh, for sure.
Like, hey, bro. Yeah, bro. I'll talk to you later.
Yeah. Like, what if the tables turn and like you end up being like whoever like you are, right? Yeah. And like that guy wants something from you, or he like wants to like talk to you, and you're like, I remember when you were a fucking dick to me. You know what I mean? Fuck you. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just the way it is, right? Like, I don't know, man. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's cool to be cool. It's just be nice.
Just keep it cool, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Can we expect any merch from Caffeine in the future? Like a shirt, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, I've done some stuff, and man, that's a lot of work, bro.
It is.
Like anybody that does stuff like that makes t-shirts, you make t-shirts, you make merch. It's definitely it's a full-time job. And you got to be on top of it. And you got to be willing to like be like, hey, you know what? I put out this money and it needs to sell. Yeah. You know what I mean? So promoting, and so I've done some stuff. I've done some shirts. I think what people liked the most was like, hey, you got any stickers? Which is crazy, right? Like people love stickers. I love stickers, so I mean I get it, but it's either hit or miss. I've always been the type of person that like you have to really make something that somebody really wants, and that's like attracting to them. Gotcha. So like when it comes to branding, that's it's not an easy thing to do.
It's not.
You know what I mean? Like whether it be the name, whether it be the logo, like You know, a lot. That's why a lot. I feel, in my opinion, that a lot of stuff isn't successful because the branding isn't correct.
I could agree with that. I know there's people out there that got really good products, but the way they're branding themselves is not working.
For sure.
It's kind of like if you're trying to sell a soda, I don't really think it's a good idea to be branding with a marijuana dispensary. You know what I mean? Like, stay in my personal opinion, like, build yourself first.
Right.
Where it's cool to do that collaboration.
Right.
You
Right.
know what I mean? That's how I feel about it.
Yeah, branding's tough, bro. Like I don't know a lot about it, but I do know that what I've always been attracted to is because of like slogan, and then like I like a lot of athletic stuff.
Okay.
So there's certain brands that I really like, and that I'm attracted to, whether it be streetwear or it's like sporting goods, right? Like all that's like I'm in between all that, right?
Okay.
And then I've also like had to learn to like, hey, I don't need all that stuff. You know what I mean? Definitely get in trouble with buying so much stuff, right?
Take a break.
Yeah. Because you can have too much, and it's like, all right, I used it. Now what? You know what I mean? So I'd like to dive more into that too, but it's like I have a lot going on, so it's hard to like give my attention to one thing.
You gotta always multitasking.
Oh, for sure.
Before we get out of here, brothers, anybody you want to give a shout out to?
I mean, you for sure. I appreciate you having me.
Always,
I appreciate the work that you do. It's not easy to be an artist, like a real artist, right? Like painting is definitely a skill, and a patient skill, right?
Yeah.
I think for me. So shout out to you for always representing and giving love to the Clink Room and the stuff that you do with Got No Control.
Yeah.
And then congratulations to this new podcast, and I appreciate you having me.
You're officially the godfather of this podcast.
We rolled it out together, right?
Yeah.
And then shout out to the Clink Room, right? Shout out to them. They're always taking care of me and you. Oh, for sure. Everybody. Independent artists, support independent artists. I always say that because like it takes hard work to do that. It's not just about, coloring a hat. That's not it takes time, right? You're actually drawing to put it on a hat,
I think Casey did this giveaway. I wasn't aware of it, but I guess he did this giveaway where he flew somebody down to the warehouse.
Yeah.
And he took them out for tacos and
I think that was a old giveaway that finally happened. I don't remember. It was during COVID.
Okay.
So I know that's probably like it was a golden ticket, right? To go,
That's pretty cool though.
Yeah, it was fun. It's fun.
Able to go to a warehouse.
Oh yeah. It's great.
Some caps. That's pretty dope.
Yeah, it was dope. Casey is probably one of the nicest, like most humble, like cool-headed person I've ever known. Okay. Like I get pissed about something and I'm ready to like tell Casey like what's going on, and he's like, it's all right. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, you know what I mean? I'm like, bro, and I've had other people tell me that too that are close to him, and so I'm just like, all right. So shout out to Casey, shout out to the Clink Room, shout out to you, shout out to all the people that support me, that are friends with me, because like without them, like I wouldn't be where I'm at, you know what I mean, or like what I'm able to do with the following that I have. It's an endless thing. Like all my friends, like even the people that aren't cap collectors or that don't do what we do. Yeah. Like they've always been so supportive of me, you know what I mean, to help me. Shout out to my girl. She helps me a lot with photos, Yeah, for sure. So that's it. That's all I got.
Again, brother, I just want to thank you for taking the time to stop by and helping me out with this project that I started, and who knows where it's gonna lead from now, but we're just having fun. Make sure to like and subscribe. Also, let me know who you want to see next on the podcast. Do you know a cap collector or someone that just likes caps or got some cool caps laying around?
Oh, for sure.
Drop a comment. Who should come up here next?
Bring it.
Till next time. Peace.